Oscar, I chirped you last week saying that you were going to be wrong about both State of Origin games, and I knew that shouldn't have been. I knew I shouldn't have doubted you.
Well, I was wrong about one of them.
You were 50% still pretty good. I'd take 50% in most scenarios. Obviously, the Maroons didn't get it done in the men's, but they got it done in the girls.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm done.
I thought you might not want to talk about that one. So let's just look at the footy for this weekend.
Some very good games and some interesting sort of storylines because we've got a few hot boys coming back into...
The league's about to get a few degrees hotter.
Oh, boy.
In NRL round 18.
Let's start with Friday evening, maybe. Cronulla Sharks v the Gold Coast Titans.
Yep.
One of my favourite players in the league, AJ Brimson, returns.
A timely return as well.
Let's talk about that game.
Yeah, Brimo back for the Titans. An interesting one in terms of where he fits into their side for next year. Keanu Kinney's been superb for the Gold Coast in a debut season, and Jaden Campbell is injured at the moment, which is where Brimo will slot in at 5'8", but Campbell was excellent with the 6 on his back a couple of weeks ago as well. So moving forward for Titans fans, this is a really good chance to get a better idea of where AJ might fit into that team. On the left edge this week, up next to another guy who's a key watch, Big David Fafita. Presumably auditioning for a Maroons jersey for Game 3. They're running at Nico Hynes, which is a spot that we've spoken about on the podcast here before. Nico's not a bad defender or a bad tackler, but the spaces around him have become a bit of a spot for attacking teams in Clubland, and we saw it happen in Game 1 in Origin as well. So yeah, for $3 at time of recording, I think David Fafita is excellent value to score a try for the Titans this week.
I don't mind that at all. I just get the feeling that Billy's been poking him, prodding him, stirring him up this whole Origin series.
Stoking the fire.
And he's going to let him loose on the Blues for Game 3 and he's going to run amok.
He makes me nervous.
Nico Hynes is probably the other one I just wanted to talk a little bit more about. He obviously missed that conversion against the Dolphins.
Yes.
Couldn't steer the team to a win over the Dogs.
Over the Doggies.
Last week.
Yep.
Is he turning into a bit of a myth after his Dally M season?
Look, I feel for Nico right now, and I think the media is making it all about him, which he's the highest paid player at that club. He's the halfback. Generally, it will always be about the number 7, but the irony of it is the reason Cronulla was so good to start the year was because they were sharing the load in the spine. Blake Brayley has had a really good year. Braden Trindle, when he's been in the side, has been really productive. And Will Kennedy does what he does at fullback. So although it's all about Nico at the moment, the reality is the Sharks are a better team when they've got a better balance in attack. Nico hasn't had the best 2 weeks since Origin 1, but it's worth remembering that the only thing sitting between Cronulla and equal first on the ladder right now is that Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow length of the field try 2 weeks ago and then a clutch Burton field goal last week. So it's not great for Cronulla right now, but I don't think it's panic stations just yet.
Not panic stations, but Fafita's going to butz him for a try.
Yeah, he might have sore shoulders after this one.
I've set you up for that one.
Yep.
Look, the other Friday game, I talk about the Bronx a lot, but we kind of have to talk about them here. It's a grand final rematch at Suncorp. The Bronx get a lot of their hot boys back from State of Origin.
Yes.
They're not in a good spot at the moment.
No.
Lost the last 3. How do we see this one going?
Well, I mean, the easiest way to get up for a game is for it to be a big game. We know the Bronx are going to arrive ready to play, at least from a physicality perspective, against Penrith this week. Panthers aren't in a great spot of form at the moment either. Dropped a game against the Cowboys last week despite having 90,000% of the ball attacking North Queensland's line. So I'm expecting an improvement from both of these sides, to be honest, on Friday night. Reece Walsh is the big watch for the Broncos. Been very quiet since that nasty incident in Game 1. So I think it's really important, both for Reece and from a Queensland perspective, that he gets some reps in the legs this weekend. I'm also watching Ezra Mann. Nothing's been said about a potential switch in the number 6 jersey for the Maroons, and I'm not saying that Billy's going to swing the axe at all, but I think the way Ezra plays over the next couple of weeks is going to be very, very interesting because before the series, he was arguably one of the best 6s in the comp. So, yeah, I'm keen for this one. It's going to be a goodie.
That's fair enough. Ezra, $2.75 to score as well.
Yep.
don't mind that at all, considering he's one of their main scoring options.
Yep.
Let's go to a game that I'm a bit more fascinated about than the bookies seem to be. The Roosters and the Dragons. The Dragons are playing above their sort of regular standard this year. Yep. They obviously did pretty well last week, but they're $4.40 against a Roosters team that are flying.
Yeah.
Given the Drags have a fair bit of momentum now, is this going to be closer than the bookies give it, or is this just going to be the Chookies doing what they do best, like we saw on Anzac Day?
Yeah. On Anzac Day, Sammy Walker appeared to take control of that Roosters attack. They put 60 on the Dargans that day. Since then, they've averaged over 30 points a game in attack. Whatever they've figured out there in terms of moving Radley out to that edge, where I think his defence is actually a very sorely underrated aspect of his game at this stage of his career. But it's allowed Connor Watson to play 13, which has allowed Luke Keary and Sam Walker to find a better balance in attack. And yeah, they're the best attacking team in the comp by a country mile right now. That being said, I've been pretty keen on the Dogs all year, as along with our mate Gerald. And I think it's probably a bit of a stretch to see them going. There's value in the line there, but I like Satili Tupanua filling up at left centre for the Roosters this week. There's not as much value in their wingers, but yeah, you get a good price there for Satili.
Very nice. The line for that one, punters, is 13.5. So yeah, if you're liking a close game,
the Mad Dragon might get on it.
Mad Dragon's on the line. Let's talk about the really big return.
This is the big one.
This is the big one. Kalyn Ponga, the current Dahlia medalist, is back for the Knights on Sunday afternoon. Mm-hmm. They're taking on Canberra. Are they down in Canberra? They must be.
I think they are.
Must be. How does Ponga fare in his return here?
Yeah, Newcastle fans are telling me that it's going to be a rinse and repeat of about this time last year when KP came back into a middling Newcastle outfit and it saw them win 7 or 8 games straight and sneak into the finals. He can have that influence on a team. For me, it's been concerning to see. It doesn't feel like Newcastle are any closer to finding the right balance between Crossland and Jaden Brayley at 9. Cogger, Hastings, now Will Price is in there at 6 in terms of the halves combinations. A lot of that changes when KP comes back into 1 because he's so important to their attack, but it's been concerning to see Newcastle haven't really found that winning formula just yet. Is it as simple as slotting KP back in? Maybe. He's pretty bloody good. So yeah, I'm very interested to see particularly their left edge becomes one of the best in the comp straight away when Kalyn Ponga's swinging out the back of shape down that left tram line. So for me, Greg Marju, not great value, but $1.65 anytime as of Wednesday morning, and Bradman Best at $2.35. They're both probably prices I'm looking at for the Knights this week.
Certainly 2 of the great try scorers last season when Ponga was back. Adding those 2 plus Dom Young was always a pretty safe 3-leg multi. All right, Oscar, that's sensational once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Same time next week.
Let's do it.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.